Donald Trump has hailed his great relationship with the Philippines President, Rodrigo Duterte, who stands accused of acting with impunity over a brutal war on drugs that has left thousands dead. The U.S. president made no mention of human rights during brief remarks to reporters prior to a meeting with his counterpart, and both leaders ignored shouted questions about the drugs crackdown. Trump is in the country with leaders of 18 other nations for 2 days of summits on the final leg of a headline-grabbing tour of Asia dominated by the North Korean nuclear crisis. According to a spokesman for Duterte, human rights issues were not raised during the meeting, although the pair did discuss their mutual distaste for Barack Obama. The issue of human rights did not arise. It was not brought up, Harry Roque said of a 40-minute conversation in Manila. It was President Duterte who brought up with President Trump the drug menace in the Philippines, and the U.S. president appeared sympathetic and did not have any official position on the matter but was merely nodding his head, he said. Timeline: the U.S. president must grapple with the thorny issues of North Korea's nuclear ambitions as well as trade wars in Asia on one of the trickiest diplomatic tours in decades. The 5th of November 2017, Trump warns of the North Korean threat and says Japanese orders for U.S.-made military equipment will help keep Japan safe. Read more. The 7th of November 2017, the North Korea rhetoric softens as the president suggests he is open to diplomatic efforts to resolve the nuclear crisis. Read more. The 8th of November 2017, Xi Jinping rolls out the red carpet for Trump, who lavishes praise on his host and blames his American predecessors for the huge trade deficit between the U.S. and China. Read more. The 10th of November 2017, Trump swings through Da Nang for the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation meeting, abruptly ending his diplomatic streak with a tirade against violations, cheating or economic aggression in the region. Read more. The 12th of November 2017, on the final leg of his tour, Trump hails his great relationship with President Rodrigo Duterte, who shares some populist and mercurial characteristics with his guest, and stands accused of masterminding a brutal crackdown on drugs. Read more. Thank you for your feedback. Later, the White House press secretary, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, said the matter of human rights came up briefly, although she did not say which president raised the issue. Prior to their meeting, Trump said he and Duterte had a great relationship. The Filipino leader then told reporters that the two presidents would speak privately, ushering out journalists he jokingly referred to as spies. The duo had earlier shared another laugh when, during a traditional crossed arms group photo at the ASEAN summit, Trump struggled to reach his neighbor's hands. A brief struggle ensued, leading to some awkward photos that quickly spread across social media. From left, Russia's Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev, Vietnam's Prime Minister Nguyen Xuan Phuc, Donald Trump, Rodrigo Duterte and Australian PM Malcolm Turnbull join hands for a summit photo in Manila. Photograph: Jim Watson. FPGT Images. Roque described the private meeting as warm and friendly, adding it's very apparent that both of them have a person who they consider as not their best friend. They have similar feelings towards former U.S. President Barack Obama. The absence of a proper discussion about rights is sure to anger critics of Duterte. Rights groups and U.S. politicians had strongly urged Trump to confront Duterte on the drugs war. Duterte, a former prosecutor, has taken an indignant stance to criticism, warning the Catholic Church "don't fuck with me" and accusing the UN of issuing shitting statements about his policies. On Friday he boasted that he had once stabbed a person to death, his latest apparent admission of murder, adding to a list of similar public statements including a claim that he pushed a man out of a helicopter. At the age of 16, I already killed someone, Duterte said during a speech in Vietnam, where he briefly crossed paths with Trump on the sidelines of another international summit. Relations between the U.S. and its former colony, allies since the Second World War, were at a low during Obama's tenure. Duterte has since pushed for better ties with Russia and China. Trump and Duterte seem to have warmed to each other after meeting for the first time on Saturday at an Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation APEC group meeting in Vietnam. On Sunday, Duterte crooned a hit Filipino love called Ikaw You at a gala dinner for summit leaders in Manila, saying it was on the orders of Trump. One of the ace verses, translated from Filipino, begins, "You are the light in my world, a half of this heart of mine." Duterte sings for Trump, "You are the light" video. Trump has generally avoided publicly admonishing foreign leaders for rights abuses and has even shown an affinity for rulers with autocratic tendencies, including the Egyptian President, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, and the Russian President, Vladimir Putin. Philippine government officials estimate more than 3,000 people have died in the anti-narcotics drive. Human rights groups believe the death toll of mostly alleged drug users and suspected dealers is far higher. At the two leaders met, hundreds of left-wing protesters clashed in central Manila with riot police, who used water cannons to disperse the crowds. Protesters burned an effigy of Donald Trump at a march in Manila. Photographed LGBT images. The demonstrators chanted against the drugs crackdown as well as other issues such as Trump's bellicose rhetoric on North Korea. They burnt an effigy of the U.S. president that showed the billionaire developer with four arms, all bent into the shape of a swastika. Duterte has regularly been described as the Donald Trump of Asia for his mercurial temperament and anti-establishment populist support. Trump had previously praised Duterte's bloody crackdown, saying he was doing an unbelievable job on the drug problem. He continued to shower the president with compliments on Monday. "Rodrigo, I would like to commend you on your success as ASEAN chair at this critical moment of time," he said at a press conference. "The show last night was fantastic. And you were fantastic." The Duterte meeting came as the U.S. president wound down his 12-day Asia tour. On Monday, Trump also met the Australian Prime Minister, Malcolm Turnbull, with whom he had a contentious phone call last winter, and the Japanese Prime Minister, Shinzo Abe, who hosted the president in Tokyo earlier in the trip. Trump raved about his accomplishments on his five-nation journey, including on trade and North Korea, but said he would wait until his return to Washington on Wednesday to elaborate with a major statement.